All right, everyone, welcome back into another PrizePicks video. We're going to begin into the top props in MLB today. All right, so real quickly, just a recap from yesterday's slate. Went 4 for 7 on the day. The MLB props that we had, I said to pair these ones together. They didn't hit. The PGA prop did hit, though. So 1 for 3 on the day, break-even day. I guess we'll take that, right? Would have been awesome if Christian Yelich would have scored because it gave Vincent kind of awesome points prop that we got. Would have been better. So hopefully you guys had a good day. If not, let's look into today. Let's get into the Monday slate. And then just real quickly, guys, earlier today, myself and someone messaged me in the Discord chat saying that there's an error message coming up. That can occur occasionally through Google. All you have to do is go to settings and then you clear your cookie and then it works just fine. Should be working in Internet Explorer just fine as well. Just want to call that out as well. But if we look at the board for today, we are going to see that it is going to be a typical tight Monday board. Now, really the best prop that we're going to get is going to be an NBA bet. That's going to be Jamal Murray for over 6.5 assists. Right now, he's currently at minus 135.8. And if we take out the juice there, it has about a 54% chance to hit. If we scroll down, we can see it is pretty much a prop that should be an even push. And we can see the last 2 games against Miami, that has been exactly what has occurred, is that he has gotten over 6.5 assists. So very interesting number. I'm kind of curious to see whether PrizePicks will bump this up or if the Vegas odds will change before game time. It's kind of one of those risk reward type things, a situation in which, like yesterday, the Gabe Vincent prop ended up getting bumped from 13 points all the way up to 13.5. That could occur here with Jamal Murray, obviously with more time being in there. And for what it's worth, Gabe Vincent's prop is at 13.5 points. He has been over this basically in every single game that he's played a full allotment of minutes. So as long as that occurs again, should be a decent prop. I could actually see this one going up to 14 as well. But for right now, this is a decent prop as well. If you want to roll with those 2 NBA props, you can. So from there, let's look at some of the MLB props that we are getting. We are getting 1 game here that has, now 2 games that have a 10 run over and under. Okay. St. Louis and Texas, and then we got Houston versus Toronto. So let's go ahead and try to find some props associated with those 2 games. So sorting by Houston, the one prop that is really kind of standing out to me is going to be this one for over hitting fantasy score, and I'm going to show you guys that by looking at the 9 to 5 cheat sheet. So I'm going to get into the hitting fantasy score here. One of the best ones that we are going to be getting in terms of the over fantasy points with the Vegas line would actually be this one right here. Now we can see that the prop line difference between the Vegas line and the PrizePicks line is only 0.29, so nothing really significant. Typically I want to see it where the Vegas line is over by 2 and also the projection is over by 2. We don't have that at all today though, which is kind of the worry. It's a typical Monday board. It's just one of those things where on every single Monday PrizePicks slate, it seems to be an extremely tight board. But we can see it's projected to get over that as well, just looking at his projections. And so when we look at this game as well, it's an appealing in that aspect. So as long as there are some scores made in this game, he could be part of the reason why, right? Now, the issue with that is what we'd probably want to do is target some of the hitting fantasy score props on Toronto's side. Maybe not Bo, but we got George Springer, who fantasy score wise has really dominated in 3 out of the past 5 games. Look at Vlad Guerrero over his last 2. He's been able to get the over fantasy score there. And so if there are going to be runs scored in this one, I think there is a decent chance to possibly do some kind of little stack. And kind of what I like would be Vlad Guerrero over fantasy score, Springer over fantasy score, and then run it back with that Houston prop. Now let's just sort by where we are getting the biggest prop line difference between both of them. And so we can see the best one that we are going to get. Well, one of them is actually going to be Vlad Guerrero, which is great. Now, not projecting it over by too much, but we can see right there, like these 2, if we just want to pair those 2 up individually, if that game is kind of the game that Vegas is suggesting, then that should be a pretty decent prop. And then the best one we are going to get on today's slate is going to be Yadi Diaz for over his fantasy score as well. We're getting over 2 for the Vegas line, and we are getting over 2 for the projection. That should be the best one on the board. And then these 2 I just like using because the game calls for that. Now, one thing I want to point out as well is that some of those Toronto props, we are getting some, let's just say, interesting ones for hitting your strikeouts. So just interesting in that regard that you got Bo and Vlad also expected to strike out a decent amount. The next thing I want to look at is going to be pitcher strikeouts or pitcher fantasy score, sorry. And so what I find crazy here is we got this one, and I would suggest the under. Not only is the average Vegas line suggesting that it should be under, that pretty much means that he is not going to get a win or a quality start. The projection data is also suggesting the under as well. So to me, it's going to be tough to imagine him getting there. And then if we look at the Vegas line for the game as well, it is going to be a low number for the Vegas line for the total game. but they are slightly favoring the over there. Now, the Pirates are favored to win, and so maybe that's why PrizePicks is giving us that prop. I don't know. It's just a very interesting one there. And then one other one I want to call out as well in terms of pitching fantasy score prop is going to be looking at the other way around. We got Aaron Nola in this game. We're pretty heavily favored to get a win, minus 240. And so I believe that is why this Vegas line that we are getting for him is higher than the PrizePicks line. That is very rare. That typically doesn't occur. That really only occurs if Vegas thinks there's going to be a win. So that would be a situation which I think we could bet the over fantasy score there. Then just real quickly, let's take a peek at Underdog's props. We are getting a couple of good ones here. 54% chance for this one to hit. Decent there. That's probably the best one that we're getting right now. Connor Wong, one hit, you could use that. Not projected to get vastly over that, but if you guys want to roll with it, you can. So let's go ahead and get to my bet of the day. And so literally as I was going to make this bet of the day, they bumped up Aaron Nola's fantasy score by 1 point. That is very unfortunate. Probably a stay away now there. Honestly, just that's the biggest difference right there. So pretty unfortunate there. Now, I am perfectly fine using the Jamal Murray prop with this one as well. If you guys want to use that, you can. Perfectly fine with that. If you want to use Gabe Vincent, I'm fine with that as well. But these are going to be the best props for today's MLB slate. Hopefully, fingers crossed, right? It is a Monday. Mondays seem to be a tighter board. But that's going to be all for today. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, you know what to do. Give that like and subscribe. Let's have a good week this week. June started off pretty awesome. Hopefully, that continues again this week. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.